Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Cloud Foundry Morning Edition, bringing you all your Cloud Foundry news of last week and what's coming up in this week. Um, my name is Stormy Peters, and I'm VP of Technical Evangelism at the Cloud Foundry Foundation. Welcome to episode 7 of the Cloud Foundry Morning Edition. I'm also really excited to tell you that you can watch this on YouTube, which is probably how you're watching it, but you can now also subscribe to this as a podcast from iTunes, from Stitcher, from Pocket Casts. So if you would rather get your Cloud Foundry update while you're mowing the lawn or driving to work or doing your morning run, you can now do that. So go check that out. Give me feedback. Let me know if anything needs to be fixed. This episode is episode 7, and it is like the day of big news where other people's products are integrating into Cloud Foundry. So the really big one that you probably saw is from 18F, which is a US government organization, and they have built a whole product along with a whole website and a bunch of really awesome documentation at cloud.gov. So it's like the US government's website, cloud.gov. If you go to docs.cloud.gov, you can see all the documentation. And what they've done is create a cloud instance for all government agencies that want to create cloud apps, and it's all based on Cloud Foundry. And you can go there to see how they set it up, all the documentation you would need if you're a government organization to run an app on it. They have a DevOps public Slack channel that you can join and ask questions, and all of it's public domain, because anything that the U.S. government employees create is automatically in the public domain. So really awesome stuff there. Go check it out. We're also talking about creating with them a government mailing list and perhaps a SIG or something like that, because we now have the US government, the UK government, and the Korean government all creating cloud platforms for their citizens and their agencies using open source software, Cloud Foundry. Totally awesome. Other big news that came out this week that I don't really have probably more updates than you've read in the news, but Dell is going to acquire EMC, or that's what they announced intentions of yesterday or today. Nothing will change in the next 6 months probably, but the EMC CEO has said that VMware and Pivotal and a lot of the Cloud Foundry stuff, I assume that's in those organizations, will continue as planned. VMware will continue to be public, he said, and Pivotal will continue on its track to be public. But hopefully we'll see Cloud Foundry used in even more of Dell's solutions, which would be really awesome. So stay tuned there. I don't have any insider information, but what I do find out, I will share whatever I can. I don't expect to have any insider information. And then IBM also announced some better debugging for Node.js. So if you use Node.js in Cloud Foundry, they have some awesome tools that they put out. So you can go to developer.ibm.com to see that. And then talking about people releasing stuff to make their products and services work better with Cloud Foundry, Tibco announced that they put out some build packs that let Tibco users deploy their Tibco applications, I might not quite have that quite right, onto Cloud Foundry. So they have a build pack that's for their work, which is really awesome. So I think it also shows the power of build packs. So it shows that you can make a build pack for Cloud Foundry very easily. That makes it easy for a group of application developers to use Cloud Foundry without having to know very much at all about Cloud Foundry itself. So really empowering developers and an application's users to do really awesome things. Along those same lines, Apigee announced that, so Apigee is like an API platform, and they announced that they worked with Pivotal to make the Apigee API platform available to Pivotal Cloud Foundry users. So Pivotal Cloud Foundry users who are building applications can now expose things in their applications through APIs using the Apigee product. So that's really awesome too. I've been having a lot of fun playing with APIs in the last week. They've gotten much, much easier to use. Just a little bit of scripting or coding or even just using URLs, you can pull like some really awesome data from things. So like last week I talked about, I figured out how to pull a bunch of meetup information out of meetup.com through the APIs. And I'll share some more data from that later. And then this week I played with GitHub and pulling GitHub information from the GitHub API. And it's really amazing the things you can pull out and then the things you can add and tweak and change and have great fun with. So why was I playing with GitHub API? So I'm running the technical evangelism efforts at Cloud Foundry, and we know that most people that use Cloud Foundry first want to try it out. So they have a great big organization, they're thinking about moving to Cloud Foundry, somebody that works in DevOps or IT or the application group wants to download it and try it out themselves. And unless you have like a super duper computer or laptop, downloading Cloud Foundry can take a lot. We know it takes at least 45 minutes from our work at the doc sprint, but we also know that you have to have a certain amount of memory to install it. So we want to promote Lattice, and Lattice is a set of the Cloud Foundry features that shows you all the power of managing and scheduling your containers, but it runs easily on a laptop, and it's set up so that you can use it easily for one person or small teams. So we want to promote Lattice as the entry point for people exploring Cloud Foundry. So we think if Lattice users go up, it means Cloud Foundry users will go up. So we're going to start measuring Lattice as our metric. So I was playing with GitHub to see how many downloads of Lattice we've had so far, how many watchers, how many people watching it, how many people starring it, and we're putting out some information about how if you want to talk about Cloud Foundry or get more people involved, how you can demo Lattice, slides that you can include, when and where you should be using it. So stay tuned for that. And then speaking of meetups that I also got from the API, tomorrow, October 14th, there are actually 7 meetups tomorrow around the world. So if you live in Colorado, you can go listen to Home Depot speak. If you're in Montreal, you have a meetup. If you're in Paris, there's an IBM BlueMix meetup. If you're in Dublin, there's a meetup. And if you're in Asia, we didn't leave you out. There's Manila and Vietnam and Seoul. All have meetups tomorrow. And then I think there's like 2 or 3 the next day and still a couple the next day. So like this is the week of meetups. So if you live in South America, or I'm trying to think of what continents I missed there, Africa or Antarctica, or Australia, you should set up a meetup for tomorrow because you're missing out. So join one of the local meetups near you, or call up your friends and have a meetup at the bar. Happy to set you guys up with, if you can speak, I'm happy to support you in your efforts to promote Lattice. So if you need money for pizza and beer, give me a call. If you're promoting Lattice, I'd love to support you. So have a great week. Stay tuned. There's a lot of huge news this week between 18F, Apigee, EMC, Tibco, Dell and EMC, and I look forward to what next week brings. So you are listening to the Cloud Foundry Morning Edition, and you can watch it on YouTube, or you can watch it as a podcast from iTunes, Stitcher, or Pocket Cast. So see you again next week.